Like even when we had like the number 9 overall pick and we wasted on that left-handed schmuck from like Clemson. Oh god, I can't remember his name now. He's so bad. We suck. We suck so bad.
Well, we didn't do an intro last time, so we're going to do one this week. Welcome into the Believe in Monsters. It's been about, 2 weeks since we've talked last. I mean, we needed a week off to recover from the Kansas City ass whooping they handed us that we all knew was coming. And this has been inevitable since week 1. Welcome in to Believe in Monsters. Got Joe Gaither 6 with me and Chris Krogman at Chai Bears 1985. How we feeling? Another loss, 14 in a row.
Dude, I don't know. If I don't laugh, I'll die and cry. If just
well, it was like the Packers was like, we were all angry because we hate Green Bay, but we knew what we were in for. And then I feel like going into Kansas City, we knew what our fate was. But I told Joe this before the game on Sunday. Joe was like, "What does a win do for you?" And I was just like, "It just feels good to win one game. Like we haven't seen a win in over. Like it would just feel good to win a game, even if it is versus Denver. But now that we lost to these guys, I am fully convinced we are getting Caleb. I thought there'd be no way the Bears would actually be this bad, but they're pretty much fully in on Caleb Williams at this point. And at this point, do we really have anything to root for besides, 2 top 5 picks?
The Bears still suck.
What do we have to root for?
Should we just be rooting for losses?
Here's what is. This is gonna sound morbid, but I am legit like rooting for Virginia to kick the bucket. Sorry, old lady.
Yes, 1,000% yes. I 1,000%. Please, lady. Tomorrow would be a great day to fall down the stairs.
I don't even know if we need her to do that. I mean, she's what, 99
you know
or
what,
100?
Tonight in your sleep, the good Lord, in your sleep, do us all a favor. But I'm convinced that she made a deal with the devil. What is she, 112 years old? She made a deal with the devil. She's still living. She's cursing all of us to steal the franchise away from her father and brother. She's done, and so now we're stuck with little old lady that the Grim Reaper will never go after.
Facts. There's a lot of. I'm not 100% sure because there hasn't like. So I don't know if you guys follow Reed Jack on Twitter, but he's a very solid Bears writer that does a lot of great in-depth pieces. He knows a lot about the current status of or not even current, but like the last stock report of the Bears was like 2017, and it's messy. Like Virginia owns like 19.7%, and then all of the grandkids, all 11, each own like 3.8%. None of them little shits give a crap about the Bears, so they're not gonna put up a fight. Pat Ryan owns 19.7%. And then I guess there's a holding company that's also in Virginia's name that owns like 6%, but it's messy, dude. Like, I don't know if they could sell. I don't know if they'd be forced to sell. I think that somebody said that the ownership requirements used to be like 20%, but now it's not. Now it's only like 1%, which is dumb. I don't know why you would only need to own 1% of a team to own it.
So it used to be used to have it. You used to need to be able to buy at least 20%. Is that what you're saying? To or else you couldn't do it?
You need to own 20% of the team. Maybe it was just voting rights. Maybe it was just voting rights. But still, I'll look more into it and try to get a better. I couldn't really follow the thread because there was like tons of mini threads within the thread. But yeah, honestly, like until they're not under the McCaskies, I just don't ever see us winning ever. Like it's just so depressing. Like the only hope we have right now is Kevin Warren, and I'm still not sure if that's hopeful. Like why? Like it pisses me off that George is like, "Oh, I'm just a fan," but medals and fucking everything. Like
always.
Like then just go be a fan and collect your check and shut the fuck up, dude. Just like enjoy the game or don't because we suck, and just like stay out of it. Just don't bother. Like we don't want you here. We don't like you.
So I looked up Virginia McCaskey to see actually how old she was, and then
She's like 103, isn't she?
a little poem came up, and it said in 1492, Virginia McCaskey sailed the ocean blue. I'm just joking. She's a century old though. She's 100 years old. So yes, it's literally. I mean, she's as old as the Bears, quite literally. Bears are a couple years older or whatever. No, I mean, do we? I mean, I don't want to, whatever. We can say what we want about Virginia, this and that. How do we feel about Kevin Warren, though? Honestly, how do you guys feel about Kevin Warren? Is he going to be another?
So the only positives that the only things that we've even heard about Kevin Warren is that he's supplied the press room with a nice spread now. So apparently
the Bears are modernizing.
Soldier Field said, no, you can't bring in your own food. You can't, do anything different. We'll do it all. That, I guess Kevin Warren just kind of said, no, or I'm gonna bring in the food I want and like supply the press box with the food that they deserve. Apparently this was a pretty big deal because like a lot of the press guys would talk about it. How bad the food at Soldier Field was. The only worst food is at the Washington Commanders Stadium that Lucas will be at this Thursday night. They said Adam John said that they fed them moldy bread last time. Which is just, that's just last year. That's last Thursday.
I'm going to go to I'm going to go to the concession stand this Thursday night, and I'm going to buy a freaking rat tail on a stick, dude.
Oh man, the rats out there are huge, though. You probably feed your family for a week.
But no. So back to the Kevin Warren, because I'm serious about this. I mean, is it at least a little bit better than Ted Phillips? Because did we ever see Ted Phillips even walk through the locker room? I mean, yeah, at least Kevin Warren seems like he somewhat cares about interacting with the team and other things. Like Ted Phillips was just the guy behind a computer. We never saw him. We never knew who he was, but we knew he was in charge. I mean, this has got to be something better than him, right?
But at the end of the day, he answers to George, and George is gonna be all end all, and George is still gonna have his buddies. Yeah, Ted may not be may not be president in chief, but they're still buddies. It's just gonna be George, and he's gonna have Kevin Warren as a meat shield, and Kevin Warren can go to the business meetings, and Kevin Warren's gonna help him get Arlington Heights built and move out of Soldier Field.
Well, Joe, this was going to be my point, actually, and it's actually funny you bringing that up because I'm thinking the Bears never knowingly do anything the right way. Could they have potentially lucked into a pretty good president just bringing him along to build the stadium, and then he ends up actually being decent at his job? Like, they would never hire this guy to do this unless he was there for the stadium. But, what if he's also good at being a president of football operations for a football team? You know what I'm saying? Kind of like one of those chance things. Even George McCaskey can find a nut once in a while, we hope.
I guess. I mean, I just have no faith. I just have no confidence. Going back to Chris,
we shouldn't have any, but
to Chris's point, as long as the McCaskeys are in charge, I think we're doomed for ineptitude and mediocrity and clown actions.
Right. So did you guys listen to Peter King at all today?
Yeah.
On the local Chicago radio. So he seems to think that there is a possibility that Eberflus is fired if the Bears lose on Thursday.
I cannot believe that he's not. I 100 stand behind I think that they will get blown out. Sam Howell is not awful, especially against a bad defense. Like, he torched the Broncos defense.
Dude, he looked good last week versus Philly.
Like we just saw Fields do. And yeah, he looks good. So, and
Ryan that gonna have a field day on the goal line inside the red zone.
Yeah, and that front seven for Washington is going to eat Fields alive. And Ron Rivera is no dummy, and he comes from the Lovey system. They're just going to play zone against Justin, and he won't know what to do. He won't know how to hit a soft zone. He won't know how to anticipatory throw. Like, great, you can anticipatory throw when you have man coverage and you know what your guy's breaking on. And, Vance Joseph won't get out of man coverage until halftime. that's not going to work. Like Ron Rivera's just going to sit back in zone, and Justin's going to like just choke. He won't know what to do. He won't rip the fucking football.
It's going to be bad on Thursday. It's
Bad,
going to be real bad.
Well, do you guys? I mean, if Eberflus did get fired, if they got blown out, or even if they lose, I mean, Joe, I think that should inspire confidence in you in your evaluation of Kevin Warren. I mean,
Yes, it would.
I mean, we lost 14 in a row. If you lose 15 in a row in a professional football league, no matter how bad you are, I mean, the freaking Cardinals who signed Josh Dobbs off the street last week are playing one of the hardest schedules I've ever seen it in every game. Like, this is just inexcusable. They have to fire this guy. I mean, he should have been fired, but especially on a Thursday night game where you have a long week to kind of, find the local high school coach to fill his shoes, as Joe would say, or whatever, get your ducks in a row. But this is the spot. If it happens this year, it happens, Friday night.
That's the part. Like, okay, a bunch of my friends were giving me hell because I admitted that I haven't been watching them live since the Packers game. And really, I told you guys this last year, like midway through the year, I stopped watching them live. I do watch the replay in 30 minutes on NFL Plus, just so that I can know what I'm talking about a little bit. But like, I can't give them 3.5 hours on a Sunday. I'll lose my brains. And they're like, "Oh, you're not a real fan. Does it take them winning for you to start watching it?" I'm like, "No, it just takes competence. It just takes having somewhat of a plan, and playing not stupid football, which they do consistently." And they're like, okay, they were in the game with the Broncos. Great. They were leading 28-7. Great. But like, I knew they were going to lose. I knew they were going to find a way to lose. They got blown out by the Packers, who are not a good football team. That you can, Green Bay fans can dispute that if they want to, but beating the Bears and beating the Saints doesn't make you a good football team. You played some of the stupidest football against the Bucs. Like, you're not in these games. I don't need to win every game. I don't even need to go 500, but be in the game. Feel like you're trying. Feel like you're putting a competent game plan together. Don't run cover 2 88, 90% of the time because you don't have any creativity in your defense. Don't run the same stupid concepts offensively that get you into trouble throughout the game. And just say, "Oh, well, Justin's been bailing us out." Like, okay, yes, I'm a Justin defender, and it's harder and harder to be there. But like, the coaching staff is inept. Nobody is inspired. No one plays hard. No one tries. And it's very clear that no one really believes in the system. So, golly, fire those motherfuckers just for their Monday, Tuesday press conference that Matt Eberflus sat up there and lied to everybody and no answers at all.
He didn't even know what he was saying.
Right. He's just walking around in circles. And then, okay, go back a day earlier. Matt, did you tell Chase Claypool to stay home? No, it was up to him. Then Bears PR. Yes, we told him to stay home. No, we didn't tell him to stay home. You can't get the consistent messaging out, like, at the most basic level, organizationally speaking. Like, okay, you lose a football game, whatever, lose a football game. But the entire operation is absolutely broken, absolutely disjointed. Everyone's pointing a finger at, well, Justin Fields has a chance to audible out of the screen pass that play that I called 4 times in a row from the same formation. And then Justin Fields, well, I feel robotic because they're giving me paralysis by analysis. And then Matt Eberflus, I don't know. DJ Moore got subbed out. I don't know. And then Luke Getsy, I don't have any say in who's active and who's inactive. And like, everyone's pointing at each other. The ineptitude is at the absolute core. And it's not about losing games. It's really not like, okay, shit, losing 14 in a row, like, that really sucks. But it's not about losing games for me. It's about not even being competitive, not even being a professional organization, not even having a plan and sticking to it. And so you fire everybody and you just say, you know what, Johnny, special teams coordinator, Billy, equipment manager, you and Justin Fields are coming up with a game plan this week. And like, if you keep losing, fine, but at least everybody knows Justin Fields is running the game plan. Even Bagent, put Bagent in charge. I don't give a shit, but put someone in charge that they can believe in. It doesn't matter. Let Tremaine Edmonds, let Eddie Jackson call the defense. It doesn't matter. Just give them somebody that they can count on, that they can believe in, and put together a consistent game plan. And then when the game plan fails, come to the media room and say, well, you know what? I didn't do a good enough job. Instead of blaming all your players, like it's just a consistent blame game. And, we don't know what Chase Claypool's doing. He's not like, you know why he's not showing up to the meetings? Because your meetings are probably fucking stupid. Like are probably you're probably having one message on Monday and a different message on Tuesday, and you're like, well, we're going to do this, but now we're going to do that. Like there's no semblance of a professional organization. Lose football games, fine, whatever. But put 53 guys out there in a decent position, inspire them to play hard, and say, you know what? Well, we lost by 10. The guys played hard. The plan looked okay, but you know what? We just don't have enough talent on the defensive line. That's facts. That's true. Oh, well, Justin just didn't process enough and turn the football over at the end of the game. Facts. That's true. Nobody's gotten open. We're struggling getting open. We're struggling running the football consistently. Okay. But to just have the ineptitude and every week the game plan looks different because there's no continuity in the offense. Every week the defense looks vanilla as shit. Looks like mayonnaise smacked on white bread. Boring. Just you know that they're dropping back in cover two. There's nothing to it. So lose games, fine. Lose games, whatever. We have seen bad football before. Even last year I thought, these guys, they're showing up. They're not getting dumb penalties. But all that's out the window. They're staying in games. Justin looks exciting. All that is out the window. And so, yeah, fire them yesterday. I know I probably went overboard in the first week saying fire these guys. But, you could see it in the very first week. And you could tell through fall camp or preseason camp, no accountability. You can talk about guys doing whatever they want, whatever they're doing, and personal issues or injury issues or anything like that. But no accountability, no commitment to winning, no commitment to keeping these guys to a high standard. It's just an absolute joke. And so, it falls on McCaskey. It falls on George. If George thinks he's a fan, all right, fine. Put yourself in my shoes. And watch this team and say, do I want to spend $60 on merchandise? Do I want to, go to Washington to watch a game? Do I want to travel anywhere to watch this football team? Do I want to buy NFL Network to watch your team specifically? No, I'm going to pirate that shit. I'm going to watch it illegally. I'm not going to wear any of my Bears gear in town ever right now. It's all on the shelf. I look at that in my closet and I'm like, not that, not today. Not even my damn Walter Payton shirt. I'm sorry, sweetness, I love you. But I'm not wearing anything with the logo on it because it's an absolute abject embarrassment. And so people will say, oh, Joe, you're just turning on the Bears. I'm not turning on the Bears. I love them. But right now I hate them. And I hate everything about them because there's just nothing but go Birmingham Stallions. The Stallions would beat this team. The Stallions team, Georgia Bulldogs, you look terrible. You look meh. But Kirby Smart would put on a game plan and would play competitively with this team. People were talking about power rankings with me a couple weeks ago, and they were like, oh, Bears at 32. No, it's too high. That's too high. Whoever won the XFL last year, whoever won the USFL, the Seattle Sea Dragons are better than this team, are well run than this team.
Do you ever see Big Cat's power rankings, weekly power rankings?
No.
He makes jokes in there, and he has the Bears down at the bottom with Nebraska.
Yes, Nebraska's awful.
I love he has a Kirk Cousins tier too. It's so fun.
I'm sorry. I know I just took 5 minutes of it. That's
all right. Well, Joe, now that you're all hot and bothered, I need to ask you. So, Matt Eberflus sucks. Luke Getsy sucks. This whole coaching staff sucks. What do we do with the guy in charge that hired these guys?
That's the problem. That's
I'm not talking about Georgia McCaskey. I'm talking about Ryan. I know. What do you do with him?
My two issues fall on what do you do next? What do you do next? And it's okay, you fired Getsy, you fired Flus, you cleaned out the coaching staff. Do you continue to just burn the bridge uphill And okay, Ryan Poles, bye-bye, buddy. And then you're like, well, I like his approach. Get more picks, build through the draft, not overspend. We've talked about on this podcast before. Don't give out bad contracts. It's like
Which
that.
he hasn't done yet.
Right.
Let's flag on that one. We'll put a bookmark in that and come back.
Sure, please do. Please, and then you're like, well, you let guys go, maybe a year too early or whatnot. But good gosh, we're seeing everybody who's had semi-successful seasons outside the Bears this year, all the pass rushers that had good weekends this weekend. Yes, it's one weekend, and people are like, you're overreacting. And yes, still must, but he's playing at a decent level. And they're like, oh, well, the Bears developed him, and now the Ravens are getting an advantage. It's like, no, the fuck they didn't.
Notre Dame developed him.
Right. And so do you cut the head off of Ryan Poles and say, you're not drafting number 1 overall, you're not drafting number 2 overall. We're not letting you do that. Maybe. And then like the second level of that, Luke, is like everybody crying for Caleb Williams. And it's like, will Caleb Williams solve the problem? You still have massive holes.
Yes.
I don't think you will. You still have massive.
Okay. All right. Let's just
at the defensive line position. You have no pass rush.
That has nothing to do with Caleb Williams.
More interior linemen. You need another receiver because you need another pass catcher. You need more safety help. Like maybe I will accept that Caleb Williams might be the answer. Drake May might be the answer. All right, great. But do you let Ryan Poles hire the coach, hire the offensive coordinator, who will then thus be in charge of Caleb Williams' development, Drake May's development, Shedeur Sanders' development, whoever you end up going with? And it's like, was Matt Eberflus forced on to Ryan Poles, as is a lot of the Poles defenders' conversation?
Peter King says no.
Right. And so I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do. And so it's like, well, if you fired Ryan Poles, who hires the next general manager? Is it McCaskey and their fucking stupid ass search parties? The next guy, whoever Bill Polian tells them to hire, what is it, Corsese, whoever they tell them to hire. Like, there's no faith because the process is just entirely fucked. And so it's like, I've seen people online and like, well, get Urlacher and Cutler and Brandon Marshall and get all the former players, get Devin Hester all into the building, get Charles Tillman into the building to run the search firm to find out who the next coach should be.
Charles Tillman was already in the building when he busted it.
Is that Bears Facebook? I mean, that's gross.
No, I did see that too, Joe. Because someone was like ex-Lions players helped choose Dan Campbell or something as the next coach. That's what it was.
Yes.
But dude, could you imagine putting Urlacher, Cutler, and fucking Marshall in a room, dude? 3 of the most off the wall fucking people out there.
Throw Olin Kreutz in there too, and he might have
You're seeing Kreutz, you're seeing everybody that's like, let Kyle Long, let them be the search firm. And it's like,
Kyle Short.
Is that the worst? Is that the worst idea? Would you rather let would you rather let 15 Bears legends in quotes? Would you rather let 15 Bears legends vote on the new coach, run the interviews, and vote on the new coach, or would you rather let George do it?
Sometimes you need a good laugh, Joe. And I was just thinking about the time Tariq Cohen was live streaming when fucking Kyle Long was naked and his dick was on Instagram live. And our friend George called him Kyle Short from then on.
It's cold. It was cold and right out of the shower, man.
Those are the good days. The Bears were good. Kyle Long was naked on the freaking Instagram,
and so
it was all good.
Where's we're going forward doing this? I have no trust in George. I have no trust in him saying we're going to get this search firm together. Like, you may as well just let the fucking Bears legends all get together. Let all the CHGO guys, let Corey Wooten get involved. Let Jeff Joniak have a say. At this point, let Tom Thayer, let Tom Thayer hire the next coach because Tom Thayer bleeds orange and blue. I'll say that, but he's kind of a meathead dummy. But it's just like, where do you, like, Luke, and where do you find the hope? And you're like, oh, well, maybe Caleb Williams is going to say, there's no hope in that, because
There's
you
plenty
have
of
to
hope in
hit
that.
the 1% chance where it all goes right. Or Caleb Williams has to be like, even Mahomes has Andy Reid, has had Tyreek Hill, had Travis Kelce, had a lot of situational things go right for him. And Mahomes is absolutely super talented. And okay, Trevor Lawrence has had a lot of situational things go right. They fired Urban Meyer. They bring in Calvin Ridley. They re-up the offensive line. Like, even these generational quarterbacks have to have a lot. Like, yeah, Andrew Luck didn't have an offensive line for ages and ages. Sure.
Burrow. I mean, dude, but the Bears would never, ever have a quarterback, even within a tier of this caliber of Caleb Williams.
Okay, but
The Bears have never had a Mahomes or a Lawrence or a Burrow. I'm telling you, some of these guys are so good, you can't. Sure, and Caleb Williams makes him look like nothing.
So, how much Josh Lucas did you guys hear on the local, like, Matt and Spiegel or whatever local?
I heard him on Hogan Johns. I know he's been doing his media tour.
He's been doing a full-blown media tour, yeah.
I do appreciate his insight on Fields for sure.
He said that there was a situation where the Bears would have taken Mahomes, and it was essentially that the Browns took Mitch 1, and they did not know until that day what was going to happen. And man, I mean, at least they were down to the down. At least they had Pat in the top, the 2.
Yeah.
At least they were down to the 2. They passed on Deshaun. They said they didn't even do the interview. What?
I'm just laughing because I'm like, for me, it's like they had Mahomes at 2. It makes me more confident in them. And then them telling me, oh, Deshaun wasn't even on our board. I'm like, all right, back to square one of not trusting these fucking idiots.
Well, and that's the funny thing, too, is because, like, Josh Lucas was basically talking about how none of these quarterbacks coming out have enough time on task. And he was like, well, that makes no sense because Deshaun Watson had all the time on task, won a national championship, lost another one barely. Why didn't you take him? And Lucas had an answer, but honestly, for how it turned out, it wasn't good enough.
He said he was too inaccurate, basically.
Oh, that's
they didn't think it would improve.
That's right. That's what he said. But they did say, like, he was on the team that drafted Justin, and they said that the processing was a concern. Yeah. And they thought it would improve because he scored some magical score on the S2 test, which is the new QB Wonderlic, essentially.
The S2 test that CJ Stroud fucking bombed in a bad way.
He's bombing in the league.
Stroud's having a good first look.
That's what I'm saying. Bombing in a good way.
Stroud did terrible on that.
I know. I flipped your thing and made it the other way.
All right. Okay. Just wanted to be clear for.
All right. So I want to address a couple things that Joe brought up because that was a long monologue. So whether or not Caleb Williams fixes everything, you can't not take him.
You're right. You're right.
There's that.
Fields could be good the rest of the year, and you would still take Caleb Williams if you get him.
100%. Yep, absolutely. Lucas also said that there has to be conversations going on in the building about moving Fields if you can.
Trade him to Atlanta. Trade him back to Ryan Pace. It's his hometown. He'll give you probably a fucking second-round pick for him because Ryan Pace is a freaking idiot, and you just give him any ex-Bears player. And
he's not actually the GM, though, right? He's not the GM there, right?
They've signed so many ex-Bears. I'm not convinced.
No, I know.
He's not the GM, but he definitely has a big say. I mean, he's brought in handfuls of his ex-players.
And so the bad contract for me is Tremaine Edmonds looks terrible. That looks like a terrible deal.
Looks like a terrible deal, but to me, it's not like Danny Trevathan 6 years down the line we're going to be paying this guy. I'm pretty sure it's a 3-year deal. And plus for me,
maybe the structure's just not. Maybe the money in the structure is not as bad as Pace laid out, but you let Roquan go and gave the guy the same amount of money for a guy that's not instinctual and can't make plays that Roquan did. And we were all mad that Roquan didn't fit the system. Well, guess what? The system sucks. Who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'll eat my shit on that one because I was fully on board for trading Roquan because he was weird and he had his antics and there was shit, but he's a good football player. So
I'm still not even crying over losing a middle linebacker though. At the end of this,
no,
it's like you got a second.
But if you're going to turn around and spend that much money on him, I'm fucking pissed. Like, why would you do that? But whatever. Oh, Tremaine Edmonds in a second rounder and TJ Edwards is way better than Roquan Smith. Well, sure, and it wasn't the 32nd pick when we traded for Claypool. So I'll eat my shit on that one too, because that's another absolute fucking disaster. Ryan Poles is I don't know, man. I am losing faith so fast. Darnell Wright, even that is a fuck up, dude. I mean, Luke and I are on that. Joe's not really.
I'm warming up to it more. I like to.
Still a fuck up. It's still not a generational talent at a hard to find position. So
I hear you.
I somebody asked the other day, like, of Ryan Poles' 2023 draft picks through 4 games, like, do you feel confident that he hit any outside of Wright? I mean, Wright's pretty solid, but
it's also, to me, it's like these are all loaded questions, right? Because I honestly think that Matt Eberflus is such a bad fucking coach that we can't tell anything. Like, my big point about possibly keeping Ryan Poles is, like, sure, you can say Tremaine Edmonds isn't as good as Roquan Smith or whatever. You can say Yannick can't stop the run or whatever. These guys look like they've never played football before. Like, they're not terrible football players. They might not be all pros, but they're not this fucking bad. So
how is he such a bad football coach? Like, he ran a good defense in Indianapolis, a good group in Dallas. Like, and last year, we were all like, hey, he's got them moving in the right direction. You know, the culture here is good. You know, they are trying harder, blah, 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 blah. And like one offseason, he's become a giant pussy and doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about and sounds like a blubbering idiot up there. Like, my favorite part of the second press conference was when I think it was Kevin Fishbane was like, okay, so did you let Chase know that he wasn't coming? Like, was that at Hallis Hall? And he's like, no, it was over the phone. He's like, okay, well, what was said in that conversation? He's like, well, that's between us. And he's like, well, obviously it was a reason why you told him not to show up. Why can't you tell us that? And then pretty much all the questions from then on out were like, why can't you just talk about why the decision was made? And he's just like that was his literal face and reaction was,
right.
Like,
he looks like, and it doesn't matter what political side of the aisle you're on. He looks like any of the last 5 White House press secretaries, whether it was for Donald Trump or for Joe Biden. They're just up there playing, whoa, we can't tell you the truth. Whoa, it's an organizational thing.
So I'm really not trying to make excuses for Ryan Poles, but this is a genuine question. I mean, how much do you think, the first time GM really bought into his coach's philosophy and really let them guys in his ear? Because I mean, like, a lot of these guys, like, I don't know, does Ryan Poles in his right mind fucking pay 2 linebackers that much money? Is he bringing in fucking Lucas Patrick, who is Getsy's boy in Green Bay, or Quadim Muhammad? Like, I'm not saying Poles, gets a pass because he actually had to, write the checks, but like, I mean, seriously, was the first time young GM just fucking manipulated by this dude?
I don't hate Lucas Patrick.
Why not?
Because he's got that attitude where he goes and picks guys up and he knocks the shit out of people.
I thought you were gonna say he has that big helmet with the fucking huge forehead.
Oh, I love that too. Looks like a mongoloid.
There's not an ounce.
He's a bad football player. He's not a good football player, but he's got the attitude. He does. He's nasty, dude.
You know who's been way better than Bears fans will give? Nate Davis has looked pretty solid now.
When he plays, yes.
Yeah, that's the issue. Is you don't know
but I'm just saying, him and Darnell Wright on that side of the line looks pretty good to me.
He's gonna have personal issues this week on Thursday when he wakes up. Well, I've got a personal issue today. Like, you cannot count on it because of that.
I'm fine with Nate Davis.
Yeah, when he plays, I am sure, but like, are you going to be in or be out? And like, okay, I am sensitive to mental health issues. I am, but if you
Dude,
have a mental
the Bears
health
are 0-5. If you're telling me to go out there and play for that fucking dog shit team when I'm going through a death in the family, shut up.
then be out. Be out. It's fine. Be out. Be out.
It doesn't
and don't-
matter. He's here now and he's good. That's a W for Ryan Poles, and that's a W for the Bears.
Tevin Jenkins is he gonna like?
They're saying he's going to play Thursday. He
No
practiced fully
fucking
today.
way. Who said that?
He practiced fully today and
no
yesterday.
way. He's got out of. There's no way he's in football shape to play on freaking
Who
Thursday.
cares? Who cares? Like, they're not going to win. Who cares?
So then what is Cody back at center?
I don't know. I'm sure we won't.
Well, dude, if you're gonna drop that kind of news, Lucas, I need some follow up.
I just know he practiced today. I don't know if they talked to fucking Eberflus or anyone asked about it. I just know he practiced in full today.
Schefter said that there was a chance if he practiced in full that he could play on Thursday.
And he's practiced in full both days.
Yeah,
Well,
but
yesterday's practice in full.
on a short week isn't like intense.
nothing.
It's nothing.
He's
It's a
walking
walkthrough.
through it with pads.
I
Is
like
what-
a cripple could fucking walk.
You guys
through
are shooting the messenger.
So you're the messenger. That's your fault.
Just telling you what was listed as practice in full.
But that's the thing is, like, I don't give a shit what's on these injury reports anymore. I don't care. Like, Eddie Jackson's dead. Who cares? Like, they're like, like, it doesn't matter.
Joe's
What-
waiting for the Virginia McCaskey's dead injury report. That's it. The only
Dude.
IR that matters.
Look.
That's going to be
And
an
this is
awful
not to be
edit when that
self-involved.
happens.
But it's my birthday on Friday. The only thing I want on Friday is to have Adam fucking Schefter. Ryan Poles and Ryan Poles fires Matt Eberflus. Luke Getsy is fired. Like, shit can them all. Leave them in Washington.
So, question though:
what if he
if
said-
they do that? If they do
Luke
that,
Getsy's the head coach.
like Alan Williams walked, right, or whatever, doesn't matter.
No, he got raided.
Whatever. You fire Getsy and Eberflus. Who coaches what?
Richard
and I know you're going to
Hightower,
make
baby.
yeah. Okay, fine. So you have one coach. Now what? Andrew Janoko's the OC,
Yep.
and then who's coaching special teams? Who's coaching the defense?
I mean, this is all right. Not even.
It's a lot, dude. It's a lot.
This
That's
is
like
not
I don't.
not a joke. If the Bears fired Eberflus, would you consider bringing in Lovie Smith to finish the season?
So
I'm not even joking. He would
So
fucking do it.
Bragg
I will
brought up
I will
that
watch
shit,
every
dude.
game. I will watch every game, and I will flip I will flip in a heartbeat. You want me back, George? I will flip in a heartbeat if you bring me the. This is
All right.
conspiracy.
If we're
but-
gonna do that, let's just hire Mike Singletary. Can't win with them. Can't do it.
Sure, great.
I want to hear what Chris. What did you have to? What did Biggs have to say about that?
No,
said he
Bragg,
asked about-
not Biggs. Bragg
Oh,
said it.
Braggs.
Greg Bragg said bring in Lovey to coach the defense and bring in Greg Roman to coach the offense.
There you go. You
Okay,
could
sure.
bring in Greg Roman to maybe Lauren Harbaugh after.
Anyway, all of these things are hilarious. All right. I have a legit question, and I know I have a feeling I know where you guys stand or what at least where Joe's at. Like Eberflus gets fired, okay? Getsy gets promoted and says, "All right, Justin's can't run my offense. It's Bajan," and they like win out. Okay, that's exaggerating, but whatever. Bajan is the quarterback and looks a lot better.
He has to take us to the playoffs.
Oh Jesus, bro! Like, I don't think Getsy's play calling has been bad if freaking Justin executes just 50% of the shit he hasn't.
How many times did they run fucking naked boot on Sunday, and a guy comes?
I brought up this point with other
no.
people though, Joe. There's only so many things you can run with this guy at quarterback.
Sure, that's fine. But you're seeing Denver fire off the edge, and Fields is making it happen. He got the touchdown pass to they juked the guy out, and he got the touchdown pass into Herbert. Great. And so you're seeing they are on this bleed. They're on it. But my man Fields and his athleticism, which is level 10, processing level 0, 1, but athleticism level 10. All right, so we're getting away with it. And then crucial moment of the game, right in his face. Oh, here's a fumble. Now, granted, you guys were right earlier. You got to protect the football. You got to just go down. You got to make a different decision. You can't just be so, throw the ball up and have it end up being a fumble to your ex-Ohio State buddy. But, golly, I mean, I just cannot get over calling the same
that was bad.
pass out of the same formation 3 plays in a row, backed up against Tampa Bay. I can't get over it. You can talk about, Fields' limitations are not. Fine. Run a draw.
I thought it was only 2 plays. I thought it was only 2 plays.
3 in a row. It ended up being 2 because the first 2 were negated by penalties.
I thought only 1 was negated by a penalty, and it was the Claypool down the field holding.
Maybe it was, but I know it was 3 plays in a row.
I don't think so, but we can go back and look. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Everybody got pissed off at the second half play calling, but at the same fucking time, we're also bitching about run the ball more, and they run the ball more, and that's not good. Oh, you took the ball out of Justin's hands. Which is it? Which is it?
Running all over them.
They were fucking running it down their throats, and you took the ball out of Justin's hands. Okay, fine. Like, he had already made the fumble then. He started to look super jittery again.
Yes.
They adjusted at halftime to him, and it didn't look good. He overthrew. He was taking his checkdowns. He wasn't getting the downfield looks anymore. He overthrew Herbert like by a fucking 2 feet and behind him. Him and Kmet disconnecting on the last play. It is what it is. Whatever. He took the Kmet check down. He took that tight end screen to Mercedes Lewis. That was a fucking play call. That was the shit that they should have been doing, dude, is running more screens because they were getting so much goddamn pressure on them.
Yeah.
That worked.
That works after they run all that shit in the first half. And then when they start bringing you can run some screens off that when they start getting more aggressive upfield. But like you said, Chris, it's like the defenses adjust though, and we can't do anything. And that's where part of me is just like, yeah, the play calling's horrible, but also this guy it's the same shit we've been seeing over and over and over again.
Okay, so back to Chris's question. Bagent takes over. If hypothetically, Getsy takes over, says, "I'm playing Bagent." What do you want to see? Do you just want to see competency, or we win games and I guess we keep Getsy? What are you getting at right there? What's the future?
That's a good point. I don't know.
I mean, I appreciate the let's go down the rabbit hole.
What the fuck are we gonna do? Like, fire everybody? Then what? We fucking give it to Andrew Janocko and he keeps running Fields out there and we just.
But like, it doesn't matter. That's the thing. You're going 0-17. You're going 1-16. You might go 3-14. Great, bear down. But like, the season, the story is written. This season is fucking trash.
We need relegation. We need relegation in the NFL. We should go to the XFL for a year.
You fire all these jokers. It doesn't matter if Janocko takes over. It doesn't matter if fucking Mike Singletary takes over. It really does. Like, at this point, you're in a trend. You're about to blow everything up, and so you're asking who takes over. Who cares? You and Luke can be the three of us. You want offense, defense, or special teams? It doesn't matter. And so
I want to run the wishbone.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do on any of this shit.
I'm running the fucking wishbone.
I'll run defense. We'll run defense.
And so at the end of the year, whether it's the three of us jokers or Janocko or Lovie Smith, you're looking at 3-14 tops. Great.
I hope we're not that good.
And what? Like, so what are we afraid of? Well, at this point, there's nothing to be afraid of. We have met the darkness. We are in the dark. Like, there's no darker place than. And so you might as well get rid of the motherfuckers who brought us here and say, you know what? We're going to be in the dark for the next 14 games anyways. I think that's the right math. You're 0-4 in the next 13 games anyways. So who cares?
Well, part of my coping process with the Bears is to laugh at other teams' misery. So I'm going to do that. Watching the Giants last night made me fucking chuckle. Fat Nagy sucks. Daniel Jones is the highest paid, worst quarterback I've ever seen in my life. That guy is fucking terrible, and they have him signed till 2025. The Panthers brought out a report today that they're trying to trade for a number 1 wide receiver after they gave us
I do
DJ
think
Moore.
okay.
No, okay, but right now he still looks significantly worse than CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson, who were
Fair.
drafted after him. And they gave us their current number 2 pick. If that pick next year is top 5 and they gave us DJ Moore, flowers to you, Ryan Poles. But then these assholes are like fully invested in Adam Thielen as like their prized free agent. Like, what did you think would happen? So it feels nice to actually be on the other side of one of these deals where, you know, you won't be made fun of. Because if Bryce truly is worse than the other two, then they just fucking shot themselves in the face.
I honestly don't care what they did with it.
I just think it's funny. I just think
it's
it's funny.
better. It's what I think is interesting is how both Houston and Arizona look like they could win 5 games, and we look so bad, fucking bad.
Houston's OC could be one of the up and coming names on the Bears watch list.
Like, all right, so Luke, you alluded to Peter King said that Eberflus was not forced on Ryan Poles. How did that? I didn't listen to the interview with Peter King, so how did that come about? And then
the guys just straight up asked him, like, did Ryan Poles pick him? And he was just like, yes. There wasn't really much info about it. I mean, to me, the whole process of that is still very weird. I mean, like we said, they had interviews lined up with 3 coaches before he was even hired. So when Kevin Warren did his introductory press conference, he essentially said Ryan Poles was still going to make the football decisions until he had to step in or until he had to help out, which he had to in Minnesota sometimes, apparently. Who fucking knows? But that's interesting to me. Like, it'd be interesting to see if all the coaching staff got fired and Poles was retained, like what happened from there. Because like they did fuck up and hire Warren after they hired everybody else, because that was just simple Bears shit. But like, because then Warren is saying like, I'm okay with keeping Poles, you know, or he's gonna tell George no, like, I signed this deal to make my deal and to be the guy after I got my feet wet. You hired me after all these guys. I'm hiring my people, and he hires whoever he wants, right? If he keeps Poles, it'll be super interesting because then then it is his guy, because then he's making that conscious decision to make him his guy, assuming George doesn't just tell him who he's keeping, and then the coaching search would be interesting. It'd be super interesting because I don't think, I think the Harbaugh thing is dead then, because Harbaugh's going to want roster control. Well, that might be something that's negotiated with Warren if he really wants to step in and say, "Hey, we'll keep Poles if they bring in this coach."
And Poles becomes a glorified scout, and we're not sure if he's any good at that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a sticky situation for sure, but I would say I guess with the way Peter King made it sound, he thinks Ryan Poles is safe.
Yeah,
no matter
that's
what
it sounded like today.
But like I said too, is like I don't even know. Like, you can't evaluate anyone on this fucking team at all.
That's why, in my opinion, you find like that's
and I'll say the one position group that actually seems like it got better is the actual offensive line to me, which is promising, and that's kind of like our big thing with Poles and Cunningham was fix the freaking offensive line.
Let Chris Morgan be the next head coach, the offensive line coach. Just let him. I mean, not next head coach. Interim. I'm sorry, I didn't want to jump the gun. Interim.
Lovie Smith would be so much fun.
Oh my gosh, I'll buy tickets if that happens. I drive up there and buy tickets just because 2010 broke my heart. I know you lost 6-7 games in a row to close that year out. But you missed the game. I mean, you missed the playoffs by a half game on a tiebreaker because the Packers don't beat the Vikings to kind of probably screw you over. The Packers sit a lot of their players. And, yeah, I get it. That's rivalry shit. But, like, you fired Lovey over that. Like, Broke my heart, and you're paying the price for it now. Still. So we're at 49 minutes. Luke is going to Washington this week.
Yes.
The 6.5 points underdog, 6.5 point doggy, and on the road. At least that was the I saw. Is that
Dude,
still
that line opened at like 3.5 or 4.5 or something. That shit jumped up a lot.
Hey Brucey, we're almost done. Shut the fuck up, dude.
That's six. Isn't that 6.5?
That's what I think. I'm double checking myself. It's at 5.5 now on per ESPN Caesar Sportsbook.
Yeah, 5.5 right now on FanDuel.
I'm hammering the Commanders. Because everything that we kind of already talked about. You got Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen looking to stat pad. Chase Young trying to get his name back. Is Chase Young healthy at all?
Yeah, he had a sack last week, I think.
There you go. Full injury report. Thank you very much. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be A-okay for them. Yeah, I mean, they lost the Eagles in overtime. I got one of my man's Camp Commanders fans basically saying we should have gone for 2 at the end of regulation to go for the win.
Yeah, Ron Rivera said his guys were too tired.
Did he have a timeout? Take a timeout and get ready for it.
Take a timeout and then call another play instead of kicking a field goal. Dude, that decision on Sunday was so fucking stupid by the Bears. 4th and 1. They don't know what they're doing. They act like they're going to kick a field goal, and then they come out and run a stupid-ass play. Get stuffed.
If you're going to do that, get out in a formation. Make them give you a look. Make the Broncos give you a look and say, oh, looks like they might be in cover 2. Looks like they might be
Joe, that was literally one of those things where you were like, Matt Eberflus knows he hasn't won a game in 13 weeks and just like thought about that. So he wanted to call timeout and go for it. Like legit, just like by the seat of his pants. Oh, you know what? I'm going to just go for this. Like at the last second.
Should have run the Philly push then.
We don't do simple shit.
No, they do that with goddamn Cole Kmet under center.
Dude, they ran that stupid play again, and he almost got stuffed.
I do like you, Kmet, but that's not your job. That's not your role.
That's not his fault. It's not like he's calling that shit.
1,000%. 1,000% agree. I'm just fired up because I'm fired up. It's not Kmet's fault. Don't put him in that position. Don't ask him to do that shit. Put him behind Justin Fields to shove their asses.
I don't think they trust Justin Fields to get it because clearly he can't do it because he didn't get it in week 1. I feel bad for Luke Gessie.
Why?
He's going to bounce back like Adam Gase.
Did Gase bounce back?
We got a head coaching job. After being on the coaching circle for like 3 years. No, Gase didn't bounce back. I don't even know if he had a job after the Jets job. It's only because of that crazy press conference, though, where he's chasing a bee with his eyes.
Looks like he just got whacked in the head with a hammer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he shoveled to the back of the dome.
So the over-under is 44.5, we said, Joe.
44 on the dot. 44 on the dot.
34-10 Manders.
Yeah, something like that's about right.
34-10. So you're going right at the number.
I just said it because it was 44. I would actually say 35-10, honestly, just because
I think we'll score more than 10. There's always
No
normally when the Bears get blown out, they'll normally get a garbage touchdown there.
Do I have to remind you the last time you played in Washington on a Thursday night?
It was a close game.
Short weeks are always low scoring, though.
It was a close game, yes, but it was the most. How many? The Bears were in the red zone like 35 times, like a billion times. Let me pull it up for you. They were in the red zone a bunch. Oh my god, it was terrible. That was one of the worst games ever.
Wentz couldn't throw the ball though either.
I'm gonna say
12
30
to 7 last year.
32 to 21 Commanders.
12 to 7 last year.
12
There,
to
so
7, dude. No
Hunt,
way.
61-yard drive ends in an interception. 68-yard drive ends on downs. Punt after 33 yards, 3 plays and out again, and then into the play incomplete, deep middle to end the half. All right, Bears get a touchdown on first drive. 6 plays, 8 yards and a punt. 10 plays, 27 yards, ends
And
on
a cloud of
downs.
dust.
And 8 plays, 61 yards, ends on downs. Turn the ball over on downs 1, 2, 3 times in the game. Punted a bunch and intercepted in the red zone. Hey, God, I mean, ugh. It was awful. It was awful. Against Carson fucking Wentz. Carson Wentz passed for less than 100 yards on our asses last year. 12 for 22, 99 yards.
He's a beast, dude.
I mean, yeah, nice play, nice guy. Former almost MVP one season for half a year, whatever. They ran the ball. Brian Robinson took 17 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown, scored his first NFL touchdown after getting shot last year.
It's not like he got shot that week.
Oh, 4 weeks removed from getting shot.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
No, because we didn't play them in week 4, did we?
Okay, week 5, 6,
It
something
was like around the same time this year as it is last
October
year.
13.
I thought he got shot like 2 weeks before the season started, or maybe even a month before the season started, but I don't remember.
Brian
Either
Robinson
way.
shot. Let's see.
This is the best part of the show is Joe's Google searches. He's actually very quick at it.
August 30th of last year. So he went August 30 to scoring his first NFL touchdown on October 13th.
So 6 weeks. That's pretty quick.
Against us, against our team.
It's not your team right now, Joe. You're
Seattle.
What'd you call them? Seattle Skyhooks or Sky Beams?
I'm pretty sure the XFL team is the Seattle Sea Dragons.
Sea Dragons. Okay. I'm a big Iowa Barnstormers fan, so
if I had to choose, I'm
Barnstormer?
that's the arena team that Kurt Warner played for.
USFL's Birmingham Stallions.
Yeah.
I like the
Led by Bo
Barnstormers.
Scarborough. Alabama's own Bo Scarborough. And now current third stringer for the Green Bay Packers, Alex Magoo. I'm not even kidding. That was his name.
It's still his name.
It is still his
way.
name. Alex Magoo.
You're telling me when like a little kid or something goes up to me like, "Hey, Mr. Magoo."
Yes. Google this guy, Alex Magoo, MCGOUGH.
The Magoo universe, baby.
He went to Seattle Seahawks, Houston Texans,
Albuquerque Sea Dragons.
Oh my God, he played at, this is ironic, Gaither High School in Tampa, Florida. I did not know that.
Did you know there was a Gaither High School?
No, I didn't. I'm about to click on that to find out. Public school in high school located in Northdale area of Hillsborough County, Florida. Opened in 1984. I hate them so much. I hate them so much.
Gaither High School?
No, the goddamn Bears. I hate them so much.
Can you sing a song for us one time?
The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. I'm not singing that fucking song. You can. You got pipes. You got a voice. You know the words.
You have the pipes.
The Bears still suck.
This is the real pipes, Joe.
Still suck. The Bears still suck so bad. Still suck. The Bears still suck.
You got to let it breathe before we end the episode.